Hi and welcome to today's reading. Today's reading is one of those off-the-cuff readings. I've been getting messages about Mary's journey, Mary having a baby, a birth, hearing the term birth as a portal. Now, whether this is literal, as in somebody is about to have a baby, somebody is about to be birthed, a new state of a spiritual being is about to be birthed. But there's something here that's almost ready to be born, wanting to push through, because I've got about 6 or 7 readings that I had planned to do today, and I hadn't really done any preparation for this reading, aside from the fact that I knew that all of these songs were coming through and they were synchronistic to each other, but I hadn't sat down and written any notes. And as I was doing my pre-shuffle, I kept hearing lying in the arms of Mary. Now, I don't know who sings that song. I think it's an old song. And then this card flew out. If it doesn't serve you, cut it out. So I'm going to pop him there. Now, the other thing that's happened is I've got a whole heap of new decks. So as you can see, all of the decks are actually blue and white. Now, symbolism of Mary is blue. The Virgin Mary is blue. Something in that color. And when you think of blue, you think of water. I'm thinking like a water birth. And water is connected to our spirituality. Something very, very spiritual. Even in the songs that were coming through, there's almost a water theme coming through in them as well. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. A bit about me first. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I pick up on energy prior to a reading. I'll then come and use my tarot and oracle decks to further clarify that message. Now, all of my readings are timeless. Whenever you stumble across it, you are meant to find it. Your guides actually guide you to places to give you, to deliver to you, delivering a baby, to deliver to you a piece of a puzzle, a piece of your puzzle, your spiritual puzzle, the spiritual map, the little nuggets of wisdom that you need to make your way on your spiritual journey. And I'm thinking of the Milky Way. To make your way on the spiritual journey. Might be something here about twins, because Castor and Pollux, which are the symbol of Gemini, and we've just come out of Gemini season, which is May, because we're in June now. Actually, no, we're still in Gemini, because Gemini rolls into Cancer, which is July. So we are in Gemini season. The feet of in the sky, in the constellation in the sky, the feet of Castor and Pollux rest on the Milky Way. And the Milky Way runs all the way up to Sagittarius, which is the archer takes its shot, the spiritual journey you're on. If you think about Sagittarius and an archer, and it's an arrow, the direction that you are going. Deliverance, I just heard, which is delivery, the direction that you are going, what you are about to birth. If it doesn't serve you, cut it out. Are you going the wrong way? That's been coming through in many readings. Now, I'm going to just run through the messages that I was getting. But before that, any of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs, because I'm also an illustrator. So I've combined my spiritual gifts with my 3D gifts and created a range of tarot and oracle decks. My way of tapping into my own physical gifts, spiritually tapping into my own physical gifts, using my intuition and the messages that I receive and connecting them with something that I have physically drawn. That might be part of your spiritual journey. What do you need to tap into? What did you come into this lifetime naturally good at? And it's interesting actually, because on the bottom, no, it wasn't on the bottom. Must have shuffled it back in. In this deck, that is my Nodes of Destiny deck. The card that popped out was Taurus. Now my South Node is in Taurus. It was the South Node in Taurus card. The South Node, and have a look where your South Node is. The South Node is what you had accomplished in a previous life, what you ended that life being good at. It would have been where your North Node probably was in your previous life. So Taurus is about art and creativity, and you know, I came into this lifetime and I could just draw. There's something about what you are good at, and maybe you haven't found it yet, but what you are good at, that you are meant to tap in on this Milky Way, on this spiritual journey. And even if you think about the Milky Way, it's a cow. The milk that the mother cow feeds to her infant. Something that you are meant to tap into from your past life, something that you are good at, something that potentially, and it is often the way where things that you are actually really good at, you will have people around you that say, oh, you can't make a living out of that, or you can't. You can. But you need to connect it with where your north node is. And because we are living in this particular period of time, especially at the moment when the north node is in Pisces and will be for the next 18 months, from January 25 through until June, July 26. Again, my readings are timeless. But there's something about tapping in what you are good at and connecting it with the spiritual essence of yourself. And that is what this birth is. If it doesn't serve you, cut it out. So if you call to any of these decks, as I said, all of the illustrations on them are my own designs. And then I've got a couple of oracle decks which are just drawing through imagery of the spiritual journey that I've been on myself. The links to them can be found in the description box. Any songs that I mention will also be found there. There might be more meaning in the lyrics of the song, the cover art, the name of the artist, what the artist was going through at the time, the symbolism or the story behind the song. So I quickly, after I'd done my pre-shuffle, I quickly did a random shuffle. I always have my songs on random shuffle. And I just asked for guidance as to I'm almost looking for a framework, a padding to the messages that are coming through. And as I said, I've been getting this Mary message for days and days and days and days. And I've quickly scribbled down, lying in the arms of Mary, Mary's journey. Now that is from the series Chosen. Again, it's got that fish, that swimming symbolism. The Nativity, which is an Australian song by Paul Kelly, but it is about this spiritual journey, this birth. Surah Miriam, which is the Arabic word for Mary. There's a chapter in the Quran, a whole chapter in the Quran dedicated to Mary, because of course in Islam they believe in Mary and Jesus. I was getting the word birth, or the phrase birth as a portal. Lots of synchronicities happen within my life and to the people around me. Yesterday, my father and my brother, they've travelled from where we live on the eastern coast of Australia, and they're doing a father-son trip out to the middle of Australia. So they're in Ayers Rock, which is Uluru, which has a spiritual significance to the story of Adam and Eve. Ayers Rock has lots of synchronistic symbolism to Adam. This huge red rock that's birthed out of the ground. You can also draw on the synchronicities with the rainbow serpent, which is that dream time story of the Australian Indigenous people. And if you think of a serpent, it's a shedding of a skin. You can also pull on the symbolism, and it was coming through of Noah and the ark. This water birth. And you think of a baby in the womb, encapsulated in water. Some of the readings that will follow this actually pick up on that theme, because today is the 13th of June, the 13th of the 6th. And in Genesis 6:13 talks about God and Noah and the ark. But if you look at that rainbow serpent, that rainbow is a covenant. So some sort of contract that you have with God in terms of something that you are meant to birth spiritually in this lifetime. A covenant is a contract, an agreement that you have with God to birth something spiritually. Now, a couple of days prior to arriving in Uluru, they were at Lake Eyre, which is currently green. It's an area in Australia that used to be this vast inland sea. If you have a look, and I remember because we used to live out that way when we were little, But a lot of the dinosaur fossils that are found in that area are dinosaurs that lived in lush tropical environments. At the moment, it's desert. And again, that symbolism. Something being birthed, something almost a returning, because it's a south node, almost a returning, a tapping back into what was there previously, and just add water and building this garden, almost a Garden of Eden. That would actually be symbolic, because the Garden of Eden, and as I said, Ayers Rock is a symbolism of Adam. Even the rainbow serpent, there was a snake in the Garden of Eden. And the whole middle of Australia, essentially, you can't live there. It's too hot, it's too barren. But when the dinosaurs were here, they did. It was beautiful and lush and green and rainforesty. A returning to that. But at the moment, there's this water. A return to Oz. A returning to that. I've done a couple of readings in the last couple of days that I have posted. I will show you. And that were all... I've just completed the big... there's a new Lego. I find it really relaxing, actually. Quite methodical. Actually, I'm going to show you, because I have it here in my room, if it fits on my table. It's, when you think about labour pains, if you've never been in labour, maybe you have, they come in waves. Waves. Look at all these little birds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Birds are messengers. There's some sort of message coming through to you about a return to something, a reconnecting with something. Now, as I said, water is mem. Mem means water. It's an M in Hebrew, mem. Even turned upside down, it's a W. M and mem. An M the right way up, a W the other way. It's almost got this reflecting energy. Okay, so they were the messages coming through. Now, I did random shuffle, and I'm just going to show you the songs that came through, and then I'm going to start pulling cards. Okay, so we've got Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? Your Body is a Wonderland, Planted in My Mind, Back in My Arms, To the End, Ugly Heart, From This Moment, The Polar Express, Walian 52, Sun Bleach, and You Will Be Found. And then Resurrection, something that you're birthing, Soul Aurora, This View, and Us. Okay, so when I think about, and that's the other thing that's been popping up in my feed, lots of people on solo journeys. Even that BTS song, Walian 52, is about a lonely whale. But whales in the ocean, they are actually surrounded. And so that other predators don't come in while they're birthing something. Because if you think about a whale is a creature that goes on a solitary journey. You often see them swimming by themselves. They go down to the depths. Some soul journey that you've been on where you've had to go down to the depths. And maybe you're resurfacing to birth something. You will be found. Even the symbolism in that, it's blue. That's from the movie Dear Evan Hansen. The Polar Express. Again, a journey. You will be found. Resurrection is a rebirth. And they will whisper her name. Interesting. So interesting. And again, that's on a random shuffle. I've got about 4,500, 5,000 songs on my playlist, and all varying different ones. But these songs about Mary have been coming through. Okay, so let's get an angel. Let's have a look and see what angel is walking with you on whatever it is you're trying to birth. Number 5. 5's a change, harmony and occult wisdom. That's the Four of Wands. There's celebration at the end of this journey, and we've got 33, discovers enemies. That's the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is my Mother Mary card. Wow. Okay, I'm going to get you some information on these angels, see if we can get just some more context. Okay, so this angel helps you live in peace with the entire world. So that gives to me this sense that you are quite balanced. Where you are or where you're going, you will be quite balanced. Peace. Soul guardian for those born 1:20 a.m. to 1:40 a.m. Moral guardian for those born the 24th of March, the 4th of June, the 15th of August, the 26th of October, and the 6th of January. And the physical guardian for those born the 9th to the 13th of April. Now, if you can hear the little tippy-tappy, that is my puppy, and he's literally just walking around the house trying to find somebody to sit down next to. Looking, searching, looking, searching. And you can hear my voice, so he's just sat outside my door. This one, the Nine of Pentacles, as I said, that's Mother Mary. The 9-9 portal. Wow, you know what? This year is the 999 portal. So that is Venus in Virgo. Venus energy to me is divine feminine energy, and divine feminine energy for me is Mother Mary. Virgo is about a spiritual journey. If you think about the Virgo card, it's the Hermit card. It's somebody that goes on a spiritual journey. And when you think about Mary, she had to go away on her own, which is that Surah Miriam song. A spiritual journey that she had to do on her own, like the whale. A spiritual journey that she had to do on her own. She couldn't do it with other people. It was something that she had to go away and do on her own. And it was spiritual in the fact that Gabriel had come to her and said, this is the covenant that you have with God in this lifetime to birth this child. A spiritual mission, a spiritual covenant that you have. But in order to do it, you have to go on a solo journey. Now 33 is the Empress. The Empress card. It's also Venus and Taurus. This angel recognizes traitors and destroys their projects and their machinations, and protects all Christian leaders and makes their subjects obedient. Wow, Christian is Christ, right? That's Mary. Soul guardian for those born 10:40 to 11 a.m. Moral guardian for those born the 21st of April, the 2nd of July, the 12th of September, the 23rd of November, or the 3rd of February. Physical guardian for those born the 27th to the 31st of August. Okay, let's get, now, this is my Mother Mary to forget me not. Mary's eyes. Something about eyes. Assumption. Body and soul united. So when we think about the body and the soul, when we pass away, we leave our body here, but in a divine sense, our soul ascends to heaven. For Mary, because she was so special, her body and soul both ascended. And when you think about body and soul, I think about Aldebaran, which is Archangel Michael. So there are 4 royal stars of Persia. Aldebaran is the, I'm going to pull it off the wall. Aldebaran is the Eastern Gate. That's the gate that Jesus rode into Jerusalem, the Eastern Gate. It's the gate of man. So Mary entered the earth as a human being, but she exited the earth, the Assumption, her rise to heaven. This is the gate of man. She exited through the gate of the gods, Scorpio. This phoenix rising from the ashes. It's the Watcher of the West. And it's Uriel, which is God is my light. These are just my notes, and I just have them sitting on my wall because it comes through quite frequently. And even this Assumption, there are varying different ways of saying that word, Assumption, which coincidentally is my husband's maternal surname, Assumption. And it means the Assumption, the ascension of Mary into heaven. something, and that was his mother's surname. There's some sort of connection here. In this journey that you're on, there's a connection with the maternal side of your family and a message coming through from that maternal side. Because when I think about whales, and this was these images that were coming up in the last couple of days, it's actually whales. And this came through in a reading too. There are only 5 mammals in the world that go through menopause. Menopause being a period in a woman's journey through her body from when she's born until when she passes. One of those 5 creatures is the whale. And generally speaking, when the young mothers give birth, because obviously they are protection from your enemies, discovers enemies. When the young mother gives birth, they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable to things like sharks and killer whales and all of that sort of stuff, because obviously they're busy having a baby, going through this waves of, they're busy having a baby. And so it is the older females in the pack. I don't know, what, a pod of whales? Is it a pod of whales? I know it's a pod of dolphins. As they're giving birth to the calf, the older energies circle. You may feel it, you may know it, you may see it, you may have sensed it, even in the conversations that you're having with people around you, older, wiser, divine feminine energy, not gender specific, but I'm talking about women who've gone through menopause, women who have experienced life, given birth, experienced life, this energy coming through from them. And it might be coming through from the ethers. It might be ancestral energy coming through that is protecting you through this spiritual rebirth that you are having. One of those, let me just, from this moment, the Polar Express to the end, protecting you, back in my arms. I'm just going through the songs. Ugly Heart, protecting you from things that don't serve you whilst you are going through this rebirth. Now, the other thing that often happens is you'll get the elder female whales that will surround the mother as she's giving birth, but then around them you'll have a pod of dolphins that swim around in a circle that kind of it's almost like they blow bubbles in the water through this action, this birth through a portal, through this action, softening the water, almost, if you've been in labor, if you've got somebody pressing on your back, or, helping that birth process happen. Assumption, body and soul united. It's almost like whatever this is that is happening, there is a connection with the earth, with the elements around, and with the ethers as well. What else? What else can we get from my Mother Mary deck? Too many. The Feast of the Assumption, August 15. Why is that? Give me a second. Lily of the Valley, Mary's Tears. So August 15 is the day that's celebrated. Why, that's funny that those two have come out. Divine Heart and Rosary Beads, Devotion. Okay, and there we go, Gabriel. Divine Revelation. If you haven't already, you are being guided. You are being guided because, pop that there, and I'm going to bring this back again. If you look at, now I know what that looks like, right? But it is actually a symbol that's used across probably 10 or 15 different religions. It was just hijacked. Formalot, Gabriel, the Watcher of the South, the mouth of the fish or the whale. Gabriel, the alpha star of the southern fish, formerly Aquarius. Mysticism, idealism and prophecy, which is something that you're meant to do. Just have all these notes everywhere because I've got so much information in my head. Sometimes I need to clear it out. Discovers enemies. You're meant to be in solitude when whatever this birth, and maybe it's because somebody's trying to steal it. And I'm going to give you this song, but it's going to come through in another reading. Yesterday, I kept hearing, and it was Superheroes by The Script. They stole the prophet's dream for a prophet on the street. You're meant to do this. This is a journey you've been on. Sorrow, devotion, something. Harmony and occult wisdom. And we did have peace there, didn't we? Lying in the arms of Mary. The Nine of Pentacles is freedom and liberation. So maybe you literally have done this on your own. Okay, let me get... My cards are all in the wrong spot. I'm a bit all over the place. And they're not in the wrong death and rebirth. Look at that. And love is the greatest healer. It's like a reconnecting with yourself. Yeah, because it's your life purpose. That's really lovely. That's so lovely. Okay, now I've got to work out where my decks are. Do I want this one or this one? I'm going to do this one first. This is my Gwen deck. Grandmother energy. Gwen is my grandmother. When she passed away, because she had 5 children and each of her children had children. There's 5 children in my family. And there was all these beautiful things that when you walked into her home, had this beautiful, divine, maternal energy. And she was devout Catholic. Supreme devotion to Mary, actually. And I had a friend who was a professional photographer come in and just photograph all her things. And different people have done different things with them. I've created, wow, look at that. I've created a deck that's meant to come out. I was thinking, I wondered the other day if I actually put that in. Yeah, that's beautiful. If I actually put that in the deck, and I remembered that I did. I'm just going to slide that in there. Give me a little second. That's where he belongs. So I created a deck with the images. My mum used the images and she's got them in frames. Other people have created books. But when you sit down to go through the images, it's just this beautiful, beautiful grandmother energy. It's so lovely. Now that was a teacup that was given to my daughter, who is the oldest of all the great-grandchildren, and it was given to her by my grandmother, who would be her great-grandmother. And it's this beautiful pink and gold, but it came from my grandfather. It was given to my grandfather by his aunts. His mother had passed away in childbirth. Sorrow, something maybe that you've been building, or a connection that has been lost between a grandparent, between a maternal aunt, between a mother, some sort of disconnect here. But this teacup was passed to him, and when he passed away, which was well before my daughter was born, but when she was born, my grandmother gave it to my daughter because she was the first granddaughter. And there's a little story of this teacup too. You can't see it in the image, but when we moved into the house we're in now, we've been here probably 10, 12, 14 years. In the removal, I actually dropped it, and it's got a little tiny chip in the side of the cup. And every time I see it, I think of Beauty and the Beast. And when you think about Belle in that journey in Beauty and the Beast, she was on her own. Something that you're meant to do on your own. A journey you're meant to do on your own. Okay, one from here. A shell. Sometimes cards come out and they are meant to, a shell. If you think about this particular, it's like the Fibonacci code, isn't it? This circle, this portal, even. This was my first deck that I drew, and it was collecting all the little puzzle pieces that you need, you know, from this reader, from that reader, from messages that are coming through, from these maternal energies in your life, connecting them all together, and then you kind of whirl around and you go through the portal. Justice, balance. That's my divine portal deck, but it's that same symbolism, and this is in so many things in nature. It's almost like God presents it to us for us to find. One more from this deck. What else do we need to know? Breaking out of the shell. It's like you've been wrapped in this journey. You've been wrapped in these maternal energies. How beautiful is that? That's babushka dolls. Wrapped in these beautiful maternal energies, and you are like that final last little babushka in there, and you're finally coming out of the shell. We've got an elk. That's making me want to get a rune. I knew it was in there. Algiz, an S or a Z. Alternative names, Elhaz, I can't pronounce that, Elger, meaning elk and protection. So you are protected on this journey because we've had an elk come out. The elk sedge is usually found in the fens, growing on the water and grimly wounding, staining with blood any man who grasps it. Correspondences, phonetic value Z or S, deity Hemdal, tree yew, bird swan, animal elk, astrology Virgo, beautiful, color gold, element earth air. The glyph itself could also represent many different things, such as a tree, a raised hand, an elk's antlers, a swan in flight, or a person standing with raised arms. And again, this blue. Protection, sanctuary, prayer, friendship, trust, mystical communication with the divine, where we've got Gabriel there, body and soul, occult wisdom, guardian spirit, absorption of protective cosmic energy, the cosmic womb, faith in the divine. When Algiz is drawn in a rune cast, it suggests that the querient may be in need of protection, but confirms that such protection is assured. As I said to you, when the whale gives birth, the elders are around it. All that one needs to do is confirm his link with the divine through prayer. Rosary beads. That's really beautiful. I love it when the, stuff happens and I wasn't meant to do this reading. Okay, let's get some cards for you. Let's find out the energy around you at the moment. Truth. Ace of Swords, truth. That's Archangel Michael's Sword of Truth, which is the Gate of Man, which is Taurus, which was the 28th to the 31st of May. So we're the 13th of June today. So it's this journey that you're on. Finding truth. Being your true, authentic self. And it's causing this death and rebirth. The 3D energy. What's happening in and around you at the moment? This is you. The 3D energy. 10 of Wands. Heavy on the journey. 10 of Wands. That's the end though. Death and rebirth. Under death and rebirth. 10s are the end. 10s are karmic completion. And when you think about the 10 of Wands, I think about, when I was in labour. The end of the labour, you're like, I do not think I can do this anymore. How long is this going to last? And that's when people step in and support. What's happening in your soul? The King of Cups. That's Neptune in Pisces. Again, that spiritual journey. I don't think I can go much deeper. Almost like your soul is crying out for help. A little bird in there too. So your soul is crying out for help. And even in Beauty and the Beast, she got help from the little, from the old wise maternal energy that was Mrs. Potts. And I don't know if I finished that story because, as I said, when we moved, I accidentally chipped the cup. So you think of Mrs. Potts and Chip. So that card has a direct reference to Beauty and the Beast and a maternal energy that is surrounding you on this journey, whether in the physical or whether in spirit. This is the message from the man upstairs, the Six of Cups. That's the sun in Scorpio. Scorpio is death and rebirth, and the sun is enlightenment. That card often symbolizes nostalgia, so people from your past supporting you. You are held, nurtured, almost big bear hugged by people from your past, people from past lives, divine feminine energies in this life or in past life that want to actually see you succeed on this spiritual journey and the outcome. Life purpose. And look at that. How beautiful. That is the Nine of Cups. That's wish fulfillment. That's Jupiter. Expansion. 777 is Jupiter. Expansion. If you think of a pregnancy, you get really big, don't you? Expansion. And then you deliver. Pisces. Again, that fish reference. Because that fish reference is in the symbolism of that series. And I don't know what it's on, Chosen. But you have to, it's this, all of these fish are all swimming one way, and then one fish decides to swim the other way. You will be found, as in, what then happens is another fish goes, oh, okay. It's almost like the salmon swimming backwards up the river. Oh, okay, he's going that way. Well, I'll go that way too. So in this rebirth that you're having, you actually draw in your soul tribe. But this fish energy, and it's the graphic that happens at the start of that series. Well, at the beginning of each episode. And then all of a sudden, and the symbolism is Jesus. Jesus is the fish. Because obviously it's a story about Jesus, but Jesus is the fish. But he has to go on his own first, and then everybody else follows. Which is what this, Mary's journey is. That Surah Miriam. Mary goes away on her own after being visited by Gabriel. The expansion happens, as in she births something. Part of this birthing you have to have already gone through, or you're in the process of going through, potentially a dark night of the soul with this 10 of Wands here. Is this journey going to end? I can't carry anymore. But on the other side, you get, look, we've got the 6 of Wands. Victory after a long battle. Because you've connected with what is your spiritual life purpose. This is not about, how many cars can I amass? How many houses can I do? How much money do I have in my bank? What do I look like on social media? This is a soul journey. It's independent. It's alone. A soul journey. And it's spiritual. And when I started this reading, it was 11:11, and that's the 4 of Wands, which is the 11:11 card in the tarot. Okay, let's have a look. Let's give more information on this truth. New beginning, that is the Page of Wands, which is the Explorer. The Explorer is Saturn in Sagittarius. And the Nine of Cups again. So the beginning and the end. Death and rebirth, the beginning and the end. This is the beginning of the reading. This is the end of the reading. The outcome. It all ties together. The beginning and the end. The 10 of Wands. The 7 of Wands, which is Mars in Leo. There's battle energy, and the 6 of Cups again. We're getting doubles in cards. I personally think that in this this final push, this final charge, you have people walking with you, defending the spiritual journey that you're on. And they are people either from a past life or people from your past, from your childhood, these are not gender specific, but I'm talking about these old wise sage mother energies, old wise sage divine feminine energies that have had you cradled in the babushka, had you cradled until you were ready to be birthed. You weren't meant to come out yet. And maybe they were clearing the way. If it doesn't serve you, cut it out. Clearing the way, maybe with this shell here, I think of messages coming in, or enlightenment, keeping you in the cocoon until you were ready to understand the divine revelation that was coming forward to you about what is your life purpose. The King of Cups. But in order to get that, you have to go down to the depths. Judgment. Wow, that's beautiful. Judgment in your soul is beautiful. Judgment in your soul is, it's Phoenix rising from the ashes. All eyes on you. Where did we have that? Yeah, you will be found, and then, I've gone backwards. You will be found. Come on, resurrection. Don't know why it's missing the N. And they will whisper her name, Soul Aurora. The Aurora is the Aurora Borealis, which is a green light, which is you being given the green light to receive this divine revelation. And when you think about, there's been many people have been having dreams about the 3 days of darkness, which is when you're in the womb, the 3 days of darkness. And we had that 3 number, 333. The 3 days of darkness. 5 is change. Being cocooned. Maybe you're the baby about to be born, or maybe you are birthing something, but it's almost been hidden. King of Cups, you will be found until you find yourself. King of Cups is Neptune in Pisces. You have to find yourself. The Page of Pentacles, you have to do the work. That's the card of the student. You have to work internally on yourself in order to birth this. Work out who you are and where you wanted to go in terms of your life purpose on a spiritual level. Maybe you had to accumulate physical wealth in the 3D to actually realize that it's not what you want, or not what you need, or doesn't feed your soul. 6 of Cups. The Hierophant. Beautiful. That is your covenant with God. Wow. 7 of Swords. Discovers enemies. 7 of Swords and the Sun. Your covenant with God, surrounded by these beautiful maternal energies, is to reach spiritual enlightenment in order to birth what you are destined, life purpose, to birth in this lifetime. Wish fulfillment, wish fulfillment. Queen of Swords, that's the truth. The Queen of Swords is Uranus in Aquarius. Now, we are in a 20-year Pluto Aquarius transit, revolutionary change. But Uranus on the 7th of the 7th, so the 7th of July, Uranus goes into Gemini. Now, the last time that happened in that 7-year period was when the bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. So maybe this change that you are making, or that you have made, or the new you that you are birthing will be a shock and a surprise to people. But the reality is, now that you've connected with yourself, I would say that you don't care. Look at Belle. She was walking through the town. You know, the other girls are saying, you know, look at Belle, she's so peculiar. But she couldn't give a flying F. She couldn't care. She couldn't care less, because she was actually connected with her soul, with her life purpose. The Queen of Swords. Even when, what's his name, Gaston came near her, she was like, yeah, nah, that's Australian. That's a big no. If somebody says, yeah, nah, it's a no. It's a no. You are not my wish fulfillment. Gaston, Queen of Swords. What else we got? You are not my wish fulfillment. I am my wish fulfillment. What I am birthing on my own is my wish fulfillment. The Knight of Swords. That's Mars in Aquarius. Look out. And even with this Judgment card here, in your soul, judging because you've done the spiritual work on yourself, because you are divinely protected, but you are very protective of the spiritual work that you've done on yourself. You will judge anybody that steps towards you who is not in alignment. I mean, we've got 2 swords here. Swords in Hebrew is 7, 7, 7. Even that Walian 52, 5 and a 2 is 7. Lots of 7 references. 7 of Wands, 7 of Swords. 6 of Swords. Divinely guided. You are being divinely guided. Okay, now, what do I want to get you now? I've got enough souls. Let me get you a moon. This beautiful journey that you're on. Look at that. New moon vibes in Cancer. The new moon in Cancer will be at the beginning of... Brace yourself for some closure on a personal matter, death and rebirth. Again, this shell here, we've got a shell. Cancer season is July, which is 7. Let me just check when the new moon in Cancer is, because there might be something relevant in that for you. A new moon is a new beginning, but when a new moon comes out, well, you don't actually see the new moon. The sky is dark and you don't see the moon. It's the darkness, the depths, the whale at the bottom of the ocean. But then it's this surfacing. The new moon in Cancer is the 25th of June. Again, the 25th is another 7. I'm just going to read. Your feeling of safety is now related to your home, your family, and related activities such as cooking and gardening. You may be prone to emotional fluctuations. You should learn to forgive and forget in order to avoid depression from thinking too much about things. Your perception of the world could be very subjective. Try to create a certain distance without being bitter. Due to your rich emotional manifestation, you can create a real sense of belonging in the world. I've just brought this up, right? I just typed in moon in Cancer. So that's what I just read out. But organs influenced by the Cancer moon sign: stomach, mucosa, ovary, womb, vagina, breast, pleura, peritoneum, lymph system, and breastbone. These organs are now more sensitive, so provide them with extra care. Interesting, because a lot of that is what you would have to tap into to birth something. How interesting is that? New moon in Cancer. Very, very cool. That is very, very cool. Okay, I'm going to get you one of these. This is my Wisdom Oracle deck. What advice? Ooh. Purpose. I am certain of my purpose in this realm. And indecision. I tap into my inner gut feeling for everything in life. Now, your divine feminine energy, your intuition, is your divine feminine energy. If you think about mother's intuition, where are you being called to? What are you being called to? What are you being guided to? Because it's sending you on a journey. You're getting messages. Now, I'm going to get you one of my cards from the Nodes of Destiny deck. So your North Node is where you are journeying to in this lifetime, and your South Node, North Node in Pisces, that's exactly where the North Node is at the moment. The North Node sits in a sign for 18 months. The North Node is where we are collectively going, so that's Pisces. But each individual has their North Node in a specific sign, and it will give you an indication of what you are meant to do in this lifetime. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to read this out first and then I'm going to give you an example. Pisces North Nodes adds a dash of caring energy and gut feelings to the gut feelings. I trust my inner gut feeling. To the galactic gathering, imagine your North Node as a mystical map guiding you to where you can boost your skills. Unveiling hidden lessons. This is your soul journey. If you're feeling all over the place with tasks, it might just be the universe whispering for you to unleash your creative wizardry. So get creative with how you connect spiritually. Now, as I said to you before, my South Node is in Taurus. Taurus is about art and culture and all of that sort of stuff. So drawing, painting, Venus energy, divine feminine energy. I was always good at drawing and creative things. My North Node is in Scorpio. Scorpio is the occult. It's hidden secrets. It's tapping into what you can't see, seeing things with your spiritual eye. So I have connected what I came into this lifetime that I'm good at, being the creative stuff, with the occult stuff, with the hidden stuff, harmony and occult wisdom. There's something that you're meant to be tapping into at the moment that connects the past with the future. The Six of Cups, we had that twice. Where did we get it the second time? Under here, the Six of Cups. Something that connects your past with your future. Go and have a look at where your South Node is. Or think about the things that you are good at. Even to the point where I said before, like the expectation was for me to always go to art school. Now I did, and I was bored. It was so boring because I'd already mastered it. But what I hadn't mastered was my North Node, which is the occult wisdom stuff, which, over the past couple of years, I have been doing, creating. And now I am sitting in balanced divine feminine energy, putting out readings on YouTube, developing my gifts spiritually. It's something like that. You're meant to connect something that you are good at with spirituality. Why? Because the North Node is in Pisces at the moment, and Pisces is spirituality. Unleash your creative wizardry. Okay, I'm going to get you some Scrabble tiles. See if there's anything else that your guides want to tell you. I do apologise. I normally let you know that I'm going to shake it, but I forgot. I said Ben, B and a 3, an N and a 1, a H and a 4, a Z, beginning and the end, a Z and a 10, an L and a 1. Now that's Uriel. L, God is my light. The royal star of Persia, and it's called Antares, the watcher of the west. The celestial scorpion. Scorpion is death and rebirth. D and a 2, a Q and a 10, questions and answers, an E and a 1, an S and a 1, a P and a 3, an I, Pi. Might be something in that movie, The Life of Pi. A V and a 4, an X and an 8. Again, that's the Tav in Hebrew, the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. A U and a 1, an R and a 1, and a T. The gate of the gods is Uriel. Walking through the gate of man into the gate of gods by tapping into your spiritual life purpose. Okay, I'm going to get you 3 final cards. What have we got on the bottom? 5 of Pentacles. Interesting. That's Mercury in Taurus. Whoa. Hierophant, the King of Wands, and the 4 of Cups. Moon in Cancer. Again, Moon in Cancer. Moon in Cancer. strength. Maybe you're doubting yourself, but you don't need to. Two Hierophants, this is a soul contract that you have. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You've actually got to work for it. You've got to figure it out. You've got to spiritually figure it out. And this is what this 18 months that we're in is all about. Tapping in, taking a step back and tapping in. That's what I've got for you. Thank you so much for joining me. All the best on your spiritual journey, and I will see you in another reading.